the Every Day is a New Day podcast and live show. The inspirational show about moving forward and choosing to be more of you. Transmuting the self-doubt and stepping into courageously aligned confidence in who you uniquely are. My name is Kim O'Neill. I'm a twice certified transformational confidence coach, Reiki master, best-selling author, and former crime analyst who now helps empathic, heart-centered individuals shatter the noise of self-doubt, find clarity on what self-love really looks like, and the courage to be peacefully grounded in who you've always known you are, from the inside out. Join me for the live shows on Facebook and YouTube, and visit KimO'NeillCoaching.com for more info. Let's get to it. All right, and welcome to another Every Day is a New Day show. My name is Kim O'Neill, transformational confidence coach for wellness professionals in the healthcare industry that are not feeling fulfilled and seeking to have more of that courage, confidence, and clarity to move forward in ways that are meaningful for them. And if that speaks to you, I absolutely encourage you to go to KimO'NeillCoaching.com, book a free one-on-one consultation, and I'd love to connect with you and see how I can be of service to you. With that, I am really excited for today's guest. I have had a good handful of conversations with this person and just absolutely love who he is, that I might say it too many times, and I've told him that already, so just bear with me. I really like who you are. And so with that today, I'm really excited to share with you today's guest, Rodolfo Carrillo. Welcome, Rodolfo.
Hi, Kim. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So in a nutshell, Rodolfo is, grabbing my notes really quickly here, Rodolfo is a conscious leadership shaman. He mentors and coaches awakened business leaders that are seeking to expand their impact. And that is just who he is and what he does in a very tiny, succinct nutshell. So Rodolfo, I would love if you'd share with everyone just a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
I am a weird breed of combination between spirituality and business. Right? It's a weird result that took me a long time to accept and to integrate. Because I started meditating when I was 7 years old, and my mom got me into personal development and spirituality and all that world. And at the same time told me I should never share it with anyone because people would think I was crazy. And and she was taking care of me. Like she was watching out for me.
Yeah.
This was a long time ago here in Costa Rica, where I'm based. And the country wasn't as open as it is today to personal transformation and spirituality and all that. And at the same time, I studied business. I have a master's degree in entrepreneurship and family business. And so I've been in the business world my whole life. So a few years ago, I came up to this crossroads of, should I choose one side or the other, or can I actually become one? And I chose the middle one. I chose to integrate both paths. And that's why I call myself Conscious Leadership Shaman, right? It's a combination of personal awareness, shamanism, which is the work of bridging the seen, the unseen, the physical, and the spiritual, and leadership, which is what I love, what I working with, which is leaders and businesses and transforming the world through what we do.
So I absolutely love that that's part of your story because, well, first off, I relate to it personally. It's part of my story too. I totally get it. And I see so many other people who are currently at that crossroads. And so I love that you just shared you had a choice and you had to decide, am I going to do this, or, and you said you chose the middle path. You chose to integrate. Will you share a little bit more about what was making that decision like for you? If you can recall, I'm sure it was many years ago now, but if you can recall, when trying to weigh your options and really decide what was going to be the best path to serve you, how did you come to the conclusion to integrate?
Yeah, well, I was doing business consulting. I started doing business consulting almost 16 years ago. especially on the family business side, which is helping families resolve or doing conflict resolution, succession planning, corporate governance strategy for family protocols, establishing rules and regulations. And at the same time, I started deepening my personal spiritual practice, right? So, and at one point I was doing family business consulting during the day, and then 6 o'clock at night, I would close my office, move the conference table out of the room, move the chairs, throw cushions on the floor. 7 o'clock at night would open the door, and a whole nother crowd would walk in. And I was holding meditations and Dharma circles or Dharma talks, especially Monday nights. Then at some point I was doing 2 a week, which was Monday and Thursday. And it was just that I started doing that. And people started asking me, how is it that you work with family businesses and don't get drained, don't get upset, don't let all these situations that you're dealing with and their emotional situations get to you? How do you keep that? I'm like, well, I have my own personal practice to keep myself centered and all that. So people started asking me to share. It's like, would you share that? Would you? I'm like, sure. And then it was really interesting because I went to an event in, actually, I'm also certified in Reiki and in connective healing. And I took a course or the certification of reconnective healing in Panama. And as I was in the middle of the course, I see this guy comes up to me during a coffee break, and he's like, hey, how are you doing? Who are you and what are you doing here? Right? I was like, well, my name's Rodolfo, and I'm here because this is my secret life. And he laughs. He's like, well, I do family business consulting during the day and business consulting during the day. And then at nights, I work with energy and meditation and all this. And I ask him, so who are you and what are you doing? And he's like, well, my story is very similar. He says, during the day, I work in the corporate world. And this is my weekend thing and my personal thing. And so we laugh, and he asked me, it's like, have you ever thought of bridging the two and bringing these kind of concepts and things into the business world? And then, to be sincere, it's like it had crossed my mind, but I'd never acted upon it. And so he tells me, it's like, are you willing to do it? I'm like, sure. It's like, well, let's do something with my team. I'm like, great, let's do something. He says, come up with something, like design something, let me know, and then we'll work with my team. I'm sure. He takes his card, he puts it on the table. He's the VP for a multinational company for Latin America, right? For a very big multinational company that if I say their name, everyone knows who they are. So I'm like, oh, so I got my first client and I did not have a product. I had never done this, bridging both worlds, right? So that's the way I got into it, right? So that was the moment where I started seeing that there was a possibility to bridge both worlds and to not have to choose either morning work or evening work.
I love that story. So what a big confidence boost that probably was to have someone that is already so well known saying, hey, come do this for my people, come work for me. That's
he was like, if you ask me, he was crazy, right? Because he was trusting a total stranger. We had like a 15-minute conversation because it was a coffee break, and he offered me to work with his team, leadership team for Latin America for his division, right? And of course, I prepared the plan. I sent it to him. He looked at it. He says, "Yes, I love it. Let's do it." So he could always have said no after that, but he was trusting me, and that was a confidence booster. But also, it's like he was very, very, very daring, right? Which I love, right? I think more we need more leaders like that, right?
Yeah. To be the person that's going to choose to integrate, and of course to hire someone that's going to integrate you. I mean, that right there is daring. That to me speaks right to, in a certain way, speaks to the Let Your Light Shine movement, which I recently launched. And I'm grateful that Rodolfo is participating in that, because to be able to be someone who chooses to shine their light, sometimes that is going to look like, I'm choosing to break the mold. I'm choosing to say, here I am. I'm choosing to, maybe it's dare to be different, dare to do something, out of the norm. And what I see in this is we are co-creating a new norm for ourselves. And so I love to have this conversation with you. So really quickly, I do want to give a shout out to our live viewers and listeners with us today. We have Helene, who is with us, saying hello. Good to see you, Helene. And good to see you, Carolyn. Thank you so much for the compliment. And of course, Helene is also saying hello to Rodolfo. And she is saying, Rodolfo Carrillo, I like your painting behind you. So on that note, before we go deeper into the conversation, Rodolfo, will you tell us about the two paintings behind you?
Yeah, well, this one is the Sri Jantra, which is probably one of the most powerful symbols in Buddhism and Hinduism too, which represents creation, right? Which is as above, so below. That was painted by my partner. She's so
it's beautiful.
That one's very special, yeah. And this one was painted by a friend, which is really interesting. My partner is a veterinarian who works with energy and the relationship between the energetic relationship between pets and their owners, right? Awesome. And this one's painted by a doctor who also studied arts, right? And she's also an amazing human, and she's also into like spirituality and all that. So actually, this one's for sale.
What?
For sale. Yeah, that was not mine. It's a lend.
Okay, if someone wants to purchase it, should they just reach out to you?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, looky there. Maybe we'll make a painting sale.
Yeah. There you go. Someone asked. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Someone asked. And happy Thursday to Kara, who is also with us today. Good to see you, Kara. So, Rodolfo, I love that you even just shared in talking about the paintings. I hear more integration. I hear here you are doing the, I describe it as heart and soul connection, heart and soul and business. Okay. So two things here. You're about heart and soul and business, and you've got that with the painting that's for sale, which to me, looking at it, is on the left. And then you about heart and soul and business, but then your partner's doing the heart and soul with pets, bringing the nature and animal life into that. And I just see like this flow of heart and soul and everything versus compartmentalizing and having to keep things separate. And as I say that, does that bring up anything new for you?
More than or beyond new is, I think it's the path, right? The path of integration, right? And integration means healing too, right? Because right, it's integration not only to everything around us, which is understanding oneness or divinity or whatever it is, but also integration within us, which is, that's why I love so much the movement that you're leading, which is that your light shine has a lot to do with aligning ourselves with who we are and letting that come through, right? So yeah, that's what comes up with that.
Thank you for saying that. For anyone out there who is resonating with the phrase "let your light shine," you have an open invitation to join us. Joining is simply filling out a short form, sharing who you are. What does shining your light mean to you? How do you shine your light? And I would love to help share you out and support you in your shine, because when you shine, our world shines that much brighter. And each person shines in their own unique way. And that's what's beautiful. And that's also what's inspiring. So by you saying, you know what, I do shine, and here's how I shine, and I'm going to join the movement, you are inspiring others. And it's just really wonderful for me to see all the people that have been shining and joining the movement. And so I absolutely encourage you to do that. And you can see the link down here at the bottom. And so, Rodolfo, with that, I asked Rodolfo, I said, what does shining your light, let your light shine mean to you? And he said, to allow ourselves to fully show up for others from an open and loving heart. And would you like to elaborate on that? Is there anything else you'd like to share about that?
Yeah, I will build up on what I just said. Fully showing up is integration, right? It's not leaving parts of us to the side or hidden. It's just like showing up for each other, right? And recognizing, and the word that I love is interdependence, right? Or recognizing that we're all together, and that well-being is a result of everyone cooperating towards creating the space, the conditions, the life that we want so that we can all thrive, right? So yeah, for me, letting the light shine, or our light shine, is recognizing our place in the system, and when I say the system, community, world, life, whatever way you want to put it, and bringing your gift. And whatever your gift is, it's like it really doesn't matter. It could be in service, it could be production of something, and you're bringing that to the community or to the whole.
Absolutely. Yes. Our gifts. And sometimes, and I think this is what I notice has happening maybe with some of the people that, I'm going to correct my phrasing there. This is what I notice happening with some of the people that I've reached out to. Not everybody, but for some people, I think the movement alone, let your light shine, I think is sparking that, wait, what? I have a gift, I shine. And even if that's all the movement does, which is not all I hope for, but even if that's all it does, I love that, because I want people to be able to see they have so many gifts that may just come so naturally to them. They don't even realize how they shine, how they are a gift in being who they are. So I love that you said that. And with that, Rodolfo has a gift for the world, but it's not necessarily a gift to anyone here. I want to share here on the screen his latest contribution to the world is his new book, Being Leadership: How to Thrive Using the SIR Model. And so tell us a little bit more about this. I love how you did the being, and of course, let everyone know what the SIR model is.
Yeah, well, the being is really, really much in alignment with what we were just talking, which is how do we show up? Who are we, and how are we showing up from that place of who we are, what's going on within us? And the SIR model is the structure, actually a roadmap to how we work, like how our inner being works, and how we can learn how to deal with all the different perks and situations that happen in our lives through how we work within, right? So it's a very simple model: 5 principles to guide our decisions, 7 aspects to work and transform ourselves. And as we consciously work on those principles and aspects, then we can become whatever we want to become. And that's where the leadership comes in. It's like, if I want to be whoever I want to be, but at the same time, that being generates influence around us. The way we show up influences others. And when we are in a position where others look at us, then acknowledging how we're showing up is really important, because it becomes much more powerful when it's from a conscious perspective or a conscious position.
And as you talk about that, what's coming to mind right now is, I'm sure you've heard there's often conversations about becoming and unbecoming. And before I share my thoughts on that, what are your thoughts on those two phrasings? And is there a difference to you? Is it the same? How do you see it?
Yeah, I think those phrases, becoming and unbecoming, have to do with processes, right? And they are framed in time. Right? So there's like, it's a process that has to do with, or has to pass through a period, right?
Okay.
In the being, it's the present moment, right? And that's what I truly love about the work that I do, and the message that I want to share is, we want to break away from structures and molds and having to be a certain way all the time, right? Being leadership in this case is about how we show up for a specific situation, right? And I always use an example. If a building's on fire, and I am a consensus building leader, I can't come up to my team and say, "Hey, we got a decision to make. Buildings on fire. Who votes for going outside?" Right? It's not time for that, right? It's time to bring out the autocratic leaders. Like, hey, stop what you're doing, get up, leave the building, right? And that's it, right? There's no negotiations. Oh, I'm almost done. It's like, no, it's like, get up, leave, right? And at that moment, I need to be able to bring that side into the space to actually lead my team into safety, right? And being able to deal with that. It's like, no, but I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings by being strongful or by telling them, it's like, you need to move. It's like at that moment, that's what's necessary, and that's the way you need to show up, and your team needs you to show up, even though at that moment they may not understand it. Right. So that is really important for me. And so the process of becoming and unbecoming is really powerful because it's a transformational process. But then we always want to be aware of the present moment and how at that moment the situation, the environment needs or invites us to show up, right? And if we are aware, then we can adapt and we can show up the way the situation requires us to show up.
And what I hear with that is again that emphasis of flow. I mean, that's how I see it, is being able to flow into what's needed for the moment. So awesome. So I asked Rodolfo for if he had an empowering quote he'd like to share with us, and he shared, "Consciousness is key to profound and sustainable well-being." And I mean, this is inherent in what you've been saying throughout today. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that quote, though?
Being is a byproduct of consciousness, right? So we get to choose how we want to show up, where we want to go, how we want to live through the practice of presence and awareness, right? Which at the end is consciousness, being recognizing what's going on and what's either pushing us one way or pulling us the other, and then making a conscious decision about it.
Awesome. And I was just going to ask you a follow-up question. You kind of just answered it, but let me ask it anyway. For the person who's going, wait a second, I'm always conscious. What do you mean? What do you mean? How can I be more conscious, right? Because you're in that space of integrating this and that and finding that middle ground. Does that bring up anything new that you might say to that person who's in that space?
Yeah, if you're fully conscious, then just please give me a ring and tell me the secret, right? Because it's hard.
That's awesome. I love that answer.
Right. So I would love to speak to you and hire you. But being conscious is, we don't need to be conscious of absolutely every single thing that happens or subconscious. Okay. Runs most of the show, and that is really helpful. Right? We don't need to be thinking all the time of, I need to breathe in and breathe out, and then I forget, and then 3 minutes later I'm blue, right? It's like, no, subconscious is running the show, and it's good. Like, we put on shoes and a shirt to go out of our house because the subconscious tells us to. Like, we don't need to make a decision every morning, like, should I wear shoes today or not, right? So what being conscious means is, like, when we feel stuck, when we feel fear, when we feel like inadequate or out of place, when we're suffering, right? And when I say suffering, it's not trauma, right? Trauma is suffering, but I'm saying it's like when we don't feel like good, like in a state of well-being, right? Then we want to be aware. It's like, what's going on, right? Am I not aligned with myself? Am I desiring, thinking something and acting differently? And that's what's triggering suffering, right? So in the back of my mind, I'm saying, like, I shouldn't be here. I don't want to be here. I hate this. Like, Kim invited me here. Why am I doing this? I should be doing something else. But then it's like, I want to become aware of that and then make a choice. It's like, either I flow into it, it's like, okay, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm just going to have fun. Or I tell you, hey, Kim, I'm done. Ciao, bye. and that's it, right? fortunately for you, I'm enjoying this very much, and I love talking to you, and you're an amazing person. So that's not going on within me.
Thank goodness. I'm glad to hear that. What I hear you really talking about, though, in terms of consciousness is when you have any situation that's bringing up, of course, feelings that you don't like, or just this contrast, right? Something that's unpleasant, is allowing yourself to go deeper into that and go, okay, well, what am I feeling? What's going on here? And looking at things below the surface rather than just staying at that surface level. That's what I hear you describing.
Exactly. And it's especially when something's keeping us away from profound and sustainable well-being, right? From happiness, from peace, from whatever way you want to embody well-being, right? And that's why I consciously use I chose the word well-being and not happiness, because we have different definitions for happiness, but well-being is a more encompassing way of seeing. We just want to be in a state of peace and having fun, right, with life.
Absolutely. I love it. I want to take a quick look at our live viewer comments, and then we'll go ahead and pull a card. I'll have Rodolfo help me with that. And let's see. Kara is saying here, I love how there are so many ways to shine. Absolutely, Kara. And Helene is saying, amen. The Let Your Light Shine movement rocks. Awesome. And Helene is also saying, I'm trying to impact the world to let you see you are worthy to impact your life and let your light shine in you. Helene, you are always very encouraging. Yes, you are. And Kara is saying, I feel like unbecoming is my word for 2021. And thank you for speaking to that, Kara. To just add my own thoughts to it, to me, the terms are almost interchangeable. Whether becoming, unbecoming, whatever it is that gets you to the core of who you are and being in that space of integration or alignment, knowing more deeply who you are and letting the excess, slough off, whatever it may be. So you just, you can be you. So with that, let's go ahead.
I want to comment on those two. One is to Helene, just take out the word trying. It's like you're already doing it, right? And I don't know you, but the mere fact that you want to create an impact, it's already creating an impact, right? So forget about the trying. Thank you for doing it. Thank you for having the intention. The intention is more than enough. So that's beautiful. Please just keep on doing it. And to what's the name of
Kara? We had Kara with us.
Yeah, and to Kara, to what she was saying about becoming and unbecoming, and you were saying, I think there's some process. I call them processes. Sometimes the unbecoming is important to separate it from the becoming, in the fact that we need to get rid of some stuff, right? And just create space, right? And then the becoming is like filling up that space with something new. Whereas sometimes the process of unbecoming something is like getting rid of baggage and all stuff that's we've been carrying for way too long. It's like that is really powerful. So the important, or not the important, but another important step would be, as you were saying, it's like okay, so all that empty space that now I've had, what I want to do with it, and it doesn't mean I got to carry more baggage. It's like maybe I want to keep that empty space, so I'm becoming more open. I'm becoming that space, right? And so it's really powerful, and keep doing it.
Awesome. And looks like Helene and Kara are responding to that, and appreciate your words. So thank you for elaborating on that. So let's go ahead and pull a card from, I have Brendan Burchard's The Motivation Manifesto cards here. And what I'm going to do, Rodolfo, I'm just going to do some light shuffling, and then I'm going to, in a moment, have you say stop when it feels right for you, and I'll just pull the card that's on the top there. So doing some light shuffling here. Okay, Rodolfo, go ahead and say stop whenever it feels right for you.
Stop.
Okay. So we have two. And so when that happens, when my hands are in two places, I do both on top. So first one here, we have, looks like this, and it says, how many times have we caused ourselves pain because we failed to pause and think? How would my best self view and respond to this situation?
I love it because that's exactly the process of being conscious, right?
I completely
That's like
agree.
that's like almost taken out of my book, right? So
And that's what I love about pulling cards here, is because it shows that connection between energy, right? We've been in the energy of this conversation, and now we have cards that are going to speak to that and help, build on it. Say it in different words. So, okay, the second card looks like this and says, life can lose its vibrant aura and charm if we do not bend the energy of our minds toward positive engagement and appreciation.
yeah, yeah. And I think
So,
both go hand in hand, right? It's the stopping, the reflecting, the becoming aware so that we can redirect our mind. Right?
yes.
Sometimes we let our mind just run wild and we don't even recognize it until an hour, 2 hours, or 10 days later, right? So it's really important to take pauses and recognize where we are and what's going on. And actually, the mind is one of the 7 aspects in the SER model. So yeah, that's great.
And just go ahead and say again, what does SIR stand for?
It's
SER?
the verb to be in Spanish.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, Helene is saying, thank you, Rodolfo. And Kara is saying, very wise. And and we are nearing the end of our show today. So I do want to go ahead and put up on screen Rodolfo's website, which is www.sirleader.com. And so all of our audio podcast only listeners, that is SERleader.com. And Rodolfo, would you like to share anything else about if anybody would like to reach out to you after today's show, how to go about that?
Yeah, so in my webpage, you're going to find a link to sign up for the book. The official launch is going to happen in a few weeks, probably at the end of April. So it's coming with an online program. So you get the book, if you get it on the launch date or around the launch date, it's going to be like really cheap. And it's coming with a very special price on the online program. So you can do the two together. So the book is more like the philosophy, the SIR model, how to become it, and then you have the practice on the online program. So you want to get that bundle, and you can sign up to get the information on the specific launch date and all that on the webpage.
Okay.
And you can also find my social media and all that. Almost every day I'm posting like thoughts and things, inspiring thoughts and tips and valuable content. So yeah, look me up, sign me up. I want to see what you're doing and yeah, let's connect.
I just shared one of your awesome posts in the Every Day is a New Day Facebook group. Your thoughts on getting to a new day. And what I recall from that post is you really emphasized choice, as I think I think if I recall. And I completely agree. That definitely speaks to
and that's with a picture of the sunset that I was watching the afternoon before I wrote that.
Nice. Well, I just wanted to quickly show again on screen Rodolfo's book. If you'd like to get that, Being Leadership: How to Thrive Using the SIR Model. And again, he said it is already, I think you said this, it is already out on Amazon, but you have an official launch coming up, and definitely go to his website and follow the steps to connect with him for that. And lastly, let's take a look at our viewer comments. Just looks like gratitude and best wishes. So thank you so much to everyone who's been with us live today. We appreciate you. And as always, let us know what you are taking away from today's conversation. Love to connect with you and hear what you've gained from the conversation. Rodolfo, do you have any parting thoughts before we officially close out here?
Thank you for the congratulations. First of all, thank you, Kim, for having me here. I've had a lot of fun. Thank you for the movement that you're leading. That's really powerful. And I would just say, let's stop, take a pause, and bring our awareness within. Create well-being in ourselves is to create well-being in the world, and we can do it if we just start pausing and recognizing ourselves. So thank you.
I love it. And I hear some doggies saying yes, yes in the background. So awesome.
My neighbors.
I love it. Okay. Well, Rodolfo, thank you so much for being here today. It was an honor and a pleasure and a joy to have you come on the show. And I'm wishing you all the best with your book launch. and wishing everybody who is with us live or on the replay an amazing day. Remember, wherever you are today does not have to be where you are tomorrow. And I also want to just kind of get back to the space of it's a process, that whole unbecoming, becoming, getting to that new day space, right? Allow yourself to be in process, be easy on yourself. I'm going to leave you with that. Have an amazing day, everybody. Stay right there, Rodolfo. I'll see you all again very soon.